Hi, friends. Hi, family. Hi, loved ones, and other folks on the internet. Um, this is a really cool day. This is my coming out video. Um, I'm out to some of my like my nuclear family and my some of my friends at school, but I have never really kind of come out in public, and I thought Pride Month might be the month to do that. And as Pride Month is almost over, here we are. So the video that this will become was inspired by something called the Gender Tag Project. Um, and I saw a really nice video of someone essentially talking about what their experience is with gender and how that influences them and how their cultures influence them and a few other things. So I'm going to go on to do that. But for those of you who don't want to watch that part, this is the overall news. I identify as non-binary, or I prefer genderqueer, um, and that's been a really neat revelation that I've had within the last year. And I also identify as pansexual. So happy Pride! I love you all, and here's the gender tag prompts. So the first prompt is, how do you self-identify your gender, and what does that definition mean to you? So I just answered that a little bit. The term I prefer is genderqueer because, as someone else in a gender tag video had said, non-binary is almost what you're not, and genderqueer is very much what you are. It's an affirming kind of a statement. So that's the term I prefer, and essentially that means to me, I'm not really man or woman so much as somewhere in between. There are days when I'm more masculine, there are days when I'm more feminine, and overall it was just a way for me to acknowledge to myself that it felt like my consciousness didn't really have a gender. Initially, this wasn't something I was going to tell everybody, this wasn't something, I just had it for me, but overall, as it became a larger part of my identity, I really wanted to share it with the world, and I wanted to give this, as an artist, I felt it was my responsibility to share this in case there are any young queer artists out there looking to know they're not alone. So that's kind of my gender experience. The pronouns that honor me best are they, them, theirs, but I still use he, him, his. Some of my relatives and friends or people in society, it's easy to be misgendered, and it doesn't, he, him, his were something I went by for such a long time that it doesn't really offend me, and so I kind of just say, hey, if you can, they, them, theirs, but he, him, his also is fine. The style of clothing that I most often wear, this is a fun one, because I most often wear polo and shorts or polo and jeans, and that's kind of the fashion that I've had for a while. But one of the things I'm really looking into is, as Queer Eye calls it, some non-binary buys, which is some maybe some blouses that are fit my shoulders nicely, but maybe are a little bit longer and have kind of a tapered end. I'm really excited to get into that kind of stuff. Maybe some more cardigans, some more things like that, that are a little bit more flowy. As I go through my weight loss journey, I'm able to pick up a few more of those items. So that's been super fun. So number 4, talk about your choices with body hair. How do you style your hair? Do you have facial hair? What do you choose to shave or choose not to shave? I am a relatively hairy person. I usually shave my face. I tried to grow a beard once, and it was not so good. So I find that I feel best with a clean-shaven face. And otherwise, I usually just keep my body hair. Right now it kind of adds a few more angles to my body, and I really, really like that. But as my body becomes more angular, as I lose some weight, I think I might shave some of it off at some point, but we'll see. So that's cool. Just if any of you guys have watched to this point, it's really interesting and really hard having this conversation with anyone who might choose to watch this video. And I thank you for being here. This is such a huge moment for me. And yeah, I love you all. Thank you. Anyway, number 5, talk about cosmetics. Do you choose to wear makeup? Do you paint your nails? What kind of soaps and perfumes do you use, if any? Cosmetics. I love makeup. I explored this actually with my last partner. She was very into makeup, and it was so fun learning to do my own and learning that that's a side of myself I might want to explore in the future. Right now, I'm really looking to start exploring with my fashion first. But I did receive some makeup as gifts, and so I do plan to use it in the future, and I'm looking forward to all the exploring that comes with. I don't wear it often. I usually just kind of go out with a bare face. I really like my freckles, so that's kind of my usual thing. Soaps and perfumes. This was an interesting story because this was the first way I really kind of experimented, was by going away from like that clean white bar of soap to a more floral scent, and I actually went too far the first time, and I went to something that was way too feminine for my average everyday, where my gender kind of I feel sits. And I had really bad gender dysphoria that day, and I had really bad anxiety, and so I ended up stepping it back to a more neutral with some natural tones, some coconut water, and some things like that. So that's been really neat. So yeah, I would say I am a little bit. I definitely shy away from masculine scents. Like cologne has never been my thing, and more masculine scents kind of, run me the wrong way. So I look for something more in the middle. So that's that. Have you experienced being misgendered? If so, how often? Yeah, I do get misgendered on a pretty regular basis because I do kind of still look and dress like a cis white male, and that's not who I am, but it's easy for people to think that. It's not hurtful when it happens because, like I said, this gender identity was more for me at the outset. But as I start to claim it more as my identity, it does start to hurt a little bit. And I do, one of the things I really appreciated about my last partner was that she used neutral pronouns and neutral words. And that really made me feel loved and appreciated. So that was, I was really grateful for that. And I didn't know how much that meant to me. Yeah, so that helped me kind of figure out how valuable it was to me. Do you experience dysphoria? How does that affect you? So like I said, I do experience dysphoria when I go too far outside where I kind of sit, which I feel is somewhere kind of in the middle between masculine and feminine. And that's, I just get a lot of anxiety and a lot of, almost a dissociative feeling, which can be tough. Talk about children. Are you interested in having children? Would you want to carry a child if that were an option for you? Do you want to be the primary caretaker for any children you may have? Children. Am I interested in having children? Yes. I'm most concerned about, because being a musician isn't always the most stable career financially. Depending on how you decide to do it, there are definitely very stable musicians. That's not what I'm getting at there, but I'm most interested in making sure that if I do have a child, that it's because I have a stable home for them to live in, and a stable place for them to grow up. If I would, part of me has always wanted to carry a child if that were an option for me. But I don't pretend to have that experience or have that, even though I have wanted that, there are so many other things that come with that, that I don't know what that would be like. I don't, it's hard for me to say. I have imagined being a stay-at-home parent, and I would love to do that. I think being a parent full-time is like one of the greatest careers you can have, but like I said, because I've chosen to go on this path and become a musician, I don't know if that world will ever be my reality, and I don't know that it would make me unhappy if it wasn't. But that's the question, so there it is. Talk about money. Is it important to you to provide for a family financially if you choose to have one? Is it important that you earn more than any partner you may have? Do you prefer to pay for things like dates? Are you uncomfortable when others pay for you or offer to pay for you? So this is a fun one, because for me, monetarily, I would love to provide for a family financially, not because it gives me a sense of like, not because of being the primary provider, but just because I would love to be able to say, hey, no one else in my family has to work, or the people in my family don't have to work at all because I work so hard and because I'm giving so much, and I would love to have that be their lifestyle, if that meant they could follow their passions in any way they wanted to. It's not important to me to earn more than my partners. I often am attracted to really high achieving partners, so I am fully expecting to earn less than most of my partners. Do I prefer to pay for things like dates? I think sometimes I would love to pay, but sometimes I would love for my partner to pay. So it's really up to a balance. And for a while, I didn't have that balance. For a while, I tried to pay for like everything, and like $6,000 later in a few relationships, I just decided that was not what I wanted anymore. So I'm glad to have found a more balanced, I think, approach to that. Anything else I want to share about my experience with gender? Just that it's so nice to be able to express this, and it's so nice at my alma mater at Montclair. I really found a community where I felt like my gender was something that was not just accepted but appreciated, and I felt loved all the time, by my chosen family, as I call them. So I hope that any young queer people out there, that that you're not alone, and that there are people out there for you. It takes a little bit longer to find them depending on where you look, but they are out there. So thank you again for watching, if you made it this far, and thank you for kind of helping me celebrate my coming out moment. So, all right, I love you. Have a great night. Happy Pride.